Going on, Jerome's? Happy Thursday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, uh, full disclosure, outside the window, there's a lot of pigeons, right? And initially, I was hearing a lot of burr, 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 burr. I did not think it was pigeons, if you know what I mean. But apparently, it's pigeons. People used to eat pigeons, right? I feel like they would taste like chicken. Anyways, Vikings against the Jaguars down in Duval on Sunday. Vikings had their first injury report of the week on Wednesday, and yeah, a couple of things are concerning and some not so much. So not so much. Garrett Bradbury, Andrew Van Ginkel, DNP'd, a veteran rest. Now it had been reported that Van Ginkel got dinged up at times during the Colts game, although he did finish it, but it did open the door for Diamond Dallas Turner to have more snaps, played about 50%, had the best game of his young career, which is good, right? And it is something with a 17-game season and some older veterans on this team. It is good to see veteran days. Like generally, it's been either Wednesdays or Fridays, but we'll just keep tabs on it. Ivan Pace Jr. DNP'd with a knee. Hopefully that isn't a flare-up of the previous issue. So hopefully he'll be ready to rock and roll. 3 limited. Cashman outside. How about that? More on him in a sec. But basically it's good that he's back out there in any capacity. Because remember, last week on Wednesday, he was going to try things out in the side field, and it was fine. He'd return to practice, but it didn't happen last week. But got the Cash would be back after missing 3 games. Caleb Evans limited with a hip again. Gabriel Murphy, 21-day practice window open. We'll talk about Murphy here in a second, as well as so some teams play games with the injury report. Kevin O'Connell he goes overboard because Theo Jackson, Josh Oliver haven't missed a practice in weeks now, but they're still listed on there as full. It's kind of funny to me. But Cashman, he is back. And he is spectacular. Alec Osmus, Blake Cashman back at Vikings practice today in a limited role. He's been out since October 6th with turf toe. Kevin O'Connell said hopefully it's this week Cashman returns. Vikes are at Jacksonville. And turf toe can be super painful and can be a lingering issue. So even though obviously it would have been nice to have him against the Lions or the Rams or the Colts, I mean, as long as that toe is back to 100%, need him for the stretch run because the defense is quite different when 5-1, the pride of Eden Prairie, is out there. Next. Speaking of injuries, Kevin Seifert, ESPN. So Reichard obviously wasn't on the injury report because he's on injured reserve, right? But Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman, said Kevin O'Connell isn't sure yet whether place kicker Will Reichard will be ready to return after a 4-week mandatory stay on IR. We'll be trying to get him to a place where they can have the very least maybe open his window as soon as possible. We'll be ready to go. So, we'll see what happens there, right? And I really hope that they take their time because I feel like the quad issue, especially on the swing leg, I mean that thing can just go again like that. And it is good that Reichard has dealt with a similar injury in 2019 back at Alabama, but getting him back to 100% for the stretch run is going to make sense. And it is nice that they do have a kicker who had some talent and showed a little something in training camp before Reichard got the job. John Parker Romo, former XFL Brahma, also rocking the 9-6, which is something they love to see. And ever since they redid the numbering, I feel like you need to have a specialist who wears a 40 or a 90 series number. And Reichard originally wore 46. I feel like he should have kept it. It would have been so good. But we'll set it for JPR. So John Parker Romo, like the 3-name thing, I guess is a Southern thing, but he goes by Parker Romo. So I don't know. Hopefully PR is setting a lot of PRs from deep. 78-yarder. Let him kick it. That's all. A couple roster moves. So officially, John Parker Romo's on the 53, as well as Jalen Redmond's back to the 53-man rooster. He had been up and down from the practice squad, but has exhausted practice squad elevation, so he has to be on the 53 now. Plus, Wataki Taami on injured reserve. There's a place for him on the 53. Also, long snapper Jake McQuaid and Travis Bell added to the practice squad. Now, McQuaid, obviously the only long snapper on the team, but what you're able to do is have his 3 practice squad elevations, so you don't have to burn a 53-man roster spot and just go from there. As well as Gabriel Murphy returned to practice, like we said, and I love me some Gabe Murphy. I know that been sort of out of sight, out of mind as he's been dealing with a knee issue, but loved him at UCLA. I mean, he got significant pressure opposite of Latu, as well as his twin brother Grayson. And he showed well in training camp, but wasn't able to do the damn thing in preseason because he got injured. And then you had guys like Bo Richter just taking up all of the headlines, and rightfully so. But I mean, Gabriel Murphy's got some stuff too, and it's an embarrassment of riches for the Vikings on the edge. And it'll be interesting number crunch wise because after the 21-day window, he does have to return to the 53 if they bring him back at all. So that could mean Bo Richter being demoted to practice squad. Bo Nick should be demoted to practice squad as well, even though he's looking kind of good, and that's annoying. Someone's not annoying is Justin freaking Jefferson. I'm being a stud. So top 5 mid-season wide receivers in terms of fantasy: Chase, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, CD, as well as Drake London. And what's amazing here is that Jefferson is truly proving that he is quarterback proof. And a lot of people dinged Jefferson's fantasy prospects this year. I mean, he was the number 8 pick, number 10 pick, somewhere there, because they were concerned. It's like, oh, Kirk Cousins is whatever, but he could get the ball to Justin Jefferson. But remember, JJ put up some big time numbers last year with Nick Mullins. Like he had almost 400 yards receiving over 2 games against the Lions with Nick Mullins as his quarterback. And with Jefferson, even early when Jefferson wasn't quite getting the looks from Darnold, but they've definitely heated up. Now you could say that maybe they force things a little bit too much, but it certainly will work things out. Plus, people don't understand this about offense. Like, the more weapons you have, the better it is for everyone. All right, because you can't double Jefferson, you can't double Hawkinson, you can't double Addison. Like, someone's gonna be singled up, right? So everyone has opportunities to make big time plays, and Jefferson is certainly just him. Absolutely. Also him is Harrison frickin' Phillips. Glad that he was extended. The captain getting things done along the defensive line. And the Vikings actually do have the best run defense in the National Football League. And a big part of it is the guys up front taking up bodies, whether it's Harrison Phillips, Jerry Tillery, Jonathan Bullard, as well as a great job by the linebackers on the outside, keeping contained, as well as inside linebackers scraping and making plays. But like I said, it's been frustrating, the lack of pass rush, because Tillery, Bullard, Harrison Phillips, they're run defenders by trade, and anything you get out of them as a pass rusher is a bonus. But we just need those dudes. But Phillips has been absolutely stunning this year, so very glad that he's going to be a purple for a long time. Also, since the Vikings do play the Jaguars this weekend, it's been up in there what's going to happen with Trevor Lawrence. So, got beat up in Sunday's game. The Jaguars, I always believe actions more than words. They did sign C.J. Beathard off of the Dolphins practice squad onto the 53. So that is noteworthy, because then you'd have your emergency quarterback on the roster, and if Lawrence misses, you would have a quarterback too. He was limited in practice on Wednesday. Friday, Thursday and Friday are the high leverage days. We'll see if he gets any work and what his designation is. But who's backup in Jacksonville? Mac Jones. I feel like the backup quarterback curse doesn't translate when you're a former first round pick. That's it. And Doug, I'll be your Doug. So he has some thoughts and some things about why Sam Darnold's gotten better. Purple Persuasion. Vikings head coach Doug Peterson, when asked about how Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold has turned it around this year, Justin Jefferson, which he's not wrong, right? And if you take Darnold and put him on any other team, right? If he doesn't have a top 10 receiver, he is doing as good a work as he is this year, or you could go back to coaching and go back to play calling. You could do that, everything, right? But Jefferson, as we said, he really is quarterback agnostic. It does not matter. Jefferson would have a 1,500 yard season with Tebow. That's high praise, right? But Dougie is certainly not wrong in this spot. But that is it. 9-6. You guys are the best. Enjoy your Thursday. You know what to do. Skull production value.